spirit of any good scouting meeting, we'll begin with a safety moment with Thomas Hoffman from CST4. Thomas, the floor is yours.
Hi. So today I'm going to be talking a little bit about some of the legal aspects of safety. We hear a lot about what to do in emergencies and all that, but oftentimes we don't really consider some of the legal and ethical aspects. So first up, as many people are familiar with, there's the Good Samaritan laws. Most states have some sort of law that allows you to provide care to people in an emergency, and as long as you are doing so in good faith, which means that you are trying to help them, you should be free of any legal any legal troubles later on. Additionally, you do have a duty to act. So if you see something happening, some emergency, someone needs help, by law, you are required to render the minimum level of care that you are trained to do so. For most people, that's as simple as calling 911, and that's it. If you have additional medical training, for example, you may be expected to go help them more. But just remember, you do have a duty to act. So if you see an emergency happen, at the very least, call 911. Also, a different aspect that a lot of people don't really consider, but most states have some sort of law that requires you to yield the right of way or move over for emergency vehicles. When emergency vehicles are at the scene of an emergency, they're stopped at the side of the road with their lights on. And it's far too common for some of these first responders to be hit and struck by vehicles. As many as a quarter of line of duty deaths are due to first responders being struck by vehicles. So please remember that if you are coming across up on an emergency scene, if you see those lights, move over and slow down. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Thomas. We really appreciate it. With that, like I mentioned at the beginning, we do have our National Venturing Officers Association present on the call. And so we will now begin with our National VOA report. Starting off, I'd like to share about some attendance at some events since January. So in March, I attended the March Membership Mixer to share all about the Family Scouting Continuum, which is a great project that our National Venturing Subcommittee has been working on. Kind of the concept that just like it's kind of intuitive that you go from a pack to a troop, it should also be somewhat intuitive that we go from a troop to an older youth program such as venturing or Sea Scouting. Then I worked with the membership committee as well to develop the dynamic recruitment playbook for venturing. If you go online and search up dynamic recruitment scouting, there's a version for troops and a version for packs, but there hadn't been one for venturing, so we went ahead and got that started, and that should be out relatively soon. Coming up in the next week and a half, 4 of our officers from the National VOA will be attending the National Annual Meeting in Orlando. We'll be hosting a session on the older youth programs alongside the National Quarterdeck. So far, there are about over 25, 30 participants registered to take our session, so we are very excited to share with them what does it take to have a successful older youth program in your council, and how do you incorporate the older youth programs into your council's membership growth plans. We'll also be sharing the NVOA end-of-year report at the National Annual Meeting, and Matthew will speak on that a little bit more in a couple minutes. I don't know if you guys have seen, but there are new Scouting America strips for uniforms, and the venturing ones have just come out. They are available at the Scout Shop. And so we'll be having a couple there at NAM to show off, and I'll be sewing mine on at the very beginning of the week. And then finally, we'll be having some giveaways, stickers, keychains, and then we'll be doing kind of raffles and such, truly to get people's contact information, such as Scout execs and district executives, so that once NAM is over, we can then still reach out to them and make sure that they are incorporating the older youth programs in their council's kind of programming and such. Let's see. Achievements and events this year, I'd like to share that Aiden Wells, who's on the call and has served this year as the Eastern Territory Support Vice President, has been selected as the incoming president for the National Venturing Officers Association. So congratulations, Aiden. And then VPs have been, half the group has been announced, and the upcoming rest of the half will be announced soon. So we're really excited to see what they are up to. I'd also like to congratulate all of the Summit Rank recipients from this year. It's truly something special and rare. So congratulations. And on that note, we are working with the national office and Tim Anderson, our staff advisor, to make sure that we can get some Summit Award congratulatory letters, just like our Eagle Scouts, on behalf of the National Key 3 and the National VOA officers. Also, since January, I've also attended staffed the Wood Badge, the Link Troop Wood Badge course at the Summit Bechtel Reserve. I spoke at the CST5 Symposium, which was a Zoom event, as well as the membership mixer, which I mentioned a little bit earlier. I was able to attend the CST12 program conference at Sinaquippi Scout Reservation earlier last month, as well as the Section E3 conclave 2 weekends ago. And then this past weekend, actually yesterday morning, I was with Karis and CST 15, 14, 15 for their rendezvous. So thank you guys so much for the wonderful experiences. It's been so great to meet so many wonderful ventures, get to hear your stories. And on that note, we're really excited to be hosting Chart Lead Explore again at the Philmont Training Center this upcoming summer, July 6th through the 12th. Last year, we had the largest conference of the week with over, I believe it was 45 individuals there across the venturing, sea scouting, and exploring programs. So if you are available July 6th through the 12th, we highly encourage that you come join us. We have fun activities planned for the week, including a service project, fun hikes. We're doing the Dino Trek this year, which we're really excited for. Wednesday gives you time to explore the training center, whether you want to go visit the museums, take some backcountry tours, or hike the Tooth of Time. So really, if you're interested in learning more about the older youth programs, getting more involved in leadership, or if you have no experience with the older youth programs, but you want to get involved or learn more, this is a great conference for you. It's for anyone over the age of 14, both youth and adults. So if you're interested in learning more, feel free to reach out, but we look forward to seeing you all there. And with that, I'll go ahead and hand it off to our Vice President of Administration, Cody.
Thank you. So this past month, as we all know, has been a month of transition for our program, where we've had our CSV, or where we've had our TVOA selections happening, along with our NVOA selections happening. And as of right now, about all territories, with the exception of, I think, 1 or 2, are all ready for the next term. And then on to CSVE. All of that information has been processed. Our big survey campaign, and it's being turned into a tool for the next term currently, with the full report being out very soon for all of you. TVLA selection this last trimester, we have about 25 recipients selected. More to come with about 1 or 2 more territories that we're waiting on. And then some attendance at an event, Fall Fun Rally, Winterfest, and with Andrea, the national annual meeting. And I'm proud to announce that your next Vice President of Administration is going to be Joaquin Campos. Next, I believe it's the Vice President of Communication Program, Alyssa.
I think Cody was gonna forget about me. Hey y'all, so we have a lot of awesome things coming up tonight, so I'm gonna try to keep my report short, but essentially, if you haven't heard yet, the venturing programs helps are out, as well as the updated career officer orientation, so be sure to check those out. The teams that have been working on those projects have been working really, really hard, and I want to thank everyone that has been involved in that, and they are great resources that are going to do incredible things. So we also don't forget about our podcast. It's been a little bit since we've seen things coming out, but we're hoping to change that soon. So make sure to be watching Facebook and YouTube for exciting things. And then I also have an update on the pen map, as you can see here on this slide. We completed our beta testing, and thank you to everyone that helped out with that. And we're kind of like weeding through a few things before we can officially release it to everyone. So it's an exciting thing coming out soon. So keep your eyes peeled. And then we also are going to have, with that, a resource is going to be coming out on updating BS Scout pins and keeping those updated, because it's such an important tool when it comes to recruiting, and making sure to stay on top of that information ensures that people that are not actively in the program can find your unit. So that resource is going to be coming out soon as well. And I'm looking forward to attending NAM in a couple of weeks. And I attended Winterfest a little bit ago, which was an awesome time, as always. Should be there next year. And then on the topic of fun, super fun things coming up, as Andrea was saying earlier, we have Chart Lead Explore coming up at Philmont Training Center, July 6th through 12th. And it's going to be a great time. So be sure to register before registration closes, because it's going to be an awesome event full of lots and lots of fun things. Let's be the biggest conference again that week. Woo! All right. And now it's communications time. So Matthew.
Hello. We over these past few months, we have created a 16-page annual report that we're planning on sharing at NAM and then also publishing for everyone to see. We had some great success with our Great Venturing Vote Off poll on our Instagram. We promoted the deadlines for NVOA and TVLA applications along with the Venturing Leadership Award nominations. We grew the NVOA Instagram account this year to over 500 followers on Instagram and over 400 on Facebook. And since June 1st, our Facebook posts have been viewed over 101,000 times, reaching 18,000 accounts. And our Instagram posts have been viewed over 106,000 times, reaching 23,000 accounts. So with that, I'm going to pass it on to Territory Support.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Aiden, the Vice President of Eastern Territory Support, and I'm going to talk a little about what we've been up to over the last quarter or the last trimester. Mostly, all territories have been working on processing their TVLAs and working on TVLA officer selection, which is a super, super big undertaking every single year. And we've been using our time meeting together to sort of structure a reflection for everyone to go over to help ensure a smooth, productive transition for the next officers so that we don't have to reinvent the wheel as much every single summer. But over the course of the year, many territories have formed relationships with one another, which is always cool to see every single year, especially when they get close enough that they're able to like collaborate with one another and share ideas on how they can best support the councils and units within their borders. Territories have been working on giving personalized feedback to councils who submitted CSVs, which is super, super exciting. And in that note, I want to talk a little bit about Territory Support's passion projects because they've adjusted and evolved and changed so much over the year. As some of you guys may have remembered from previous meetings, we've talked about wanting to like compile a bunch of pre-existing resources and experience and wisdom from officers and try to like put them all in one place, make them as accessible as possible for ventures across the nation and across the world. But it's taken many different forms since then. And it's sort of been this game of like trying to follow the domino chain all the way back to the first domino we've knocked over. And so looking at our own process and reevaluating our own process, we pivoted. We spent a lot of time talking about CSV, which Katie is going to talk about right after I talk, how we use that data and what CSV looks like in the future. But I think most importantly, Territory Support's passion projects, each iteration they've gone through over the last year all survives in the form of goals for many people moving into the next year, clearly articulable goals. And now we're equipped with the knowledge and experience of where we've been so we can best help make better decisions moving into the future. We can clearly decide where we're going. Our next ETR call is currently scheduled for Monday, May 19th at 8 p.m. Eastern, and that will be the last time that the Eastern Territories for this term meet together before we transition to the next term. That's all I've got for Eastern Territories, so I want to pass it on to Katie with Western Territories.
Thanks, Aiden. So our Western Territory report calls also have been going super smoothly. We've been having some great conversations about how to best transition into the next set of officers and how to improve CSVE for the next year. The territories are in the process of making transition documents and passing over the reins to their incoming officers. Like Aiden talked about, my passion projects have kind of changed quite a bit over the past term, and I found myself focusing on smaller but equally important side quests that I found interesting and could really help out. And one of those is CSVE this year. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what I did for CSVE this year and kind of my passion project for it. So after the CSVE form was released, we quickly came to an understanding that the form and the questions asked in the form may not give an accurate representation of what a council's venturing program really looks like. And so what I did is after the forms were all collected, I analyzed the data, not just in the current scoring system, but in a new scoring system I created that filters for metrics that are not dependent on the presence of a CVOA. And this new scoring system is the best representation, at least within the data we had, to show how each council is doing and enable the CSTs to know where to actually provide support. And in addition to this, one of the reasons we ask for CSB to fill out by the councils is so we can better support them. It's the let us help you kind of idea. But we understand that goes both ways. You know, if a council takes the time to complete the form, then we need to provide timely and relevant insights in return. And to help speed up that feedback loop this year, I created a document with targeted feedback for each CSVE topic. Combining this with the council data analysis, it gave the territories ready-to-use resources that are quickly passed along to their councils, providing that important, timely feedback. Between the conversations I've heard, I am very excited to see where CSVE will go next year, and I will pass it on to whoever's next.
Okay,
I
so
believe that's, oh,
no, go ahead. We're gonna
Okay.
get straight into our council support president reports, and I'd like to start by introducing CST1 with Prue.
hi. Okay, so CST1 has been doing great. Our last meeting was May 3rd, so a couple days ago, and we had record attendance. We had lots of youth talking about progress with their CVOAs and asking great questions. A lot of requests for training resources as well as how to better connect with their fellow older youth programs. So we're putting together some resources for them. And we have a lot of scouts interested in territory level positions, which is great. Some quick shout outs to youth achievements and events this past year. Chief Seattle Council ran a territory-wide rendezvous last year at their Camp Parsons, which is a great time for everyone, and we had representation from multiple older youth programs, venturing, Sea Scouting, and older members of Scouts BSA. Shout out as well to folks working on or having completed their summit rank. Pacific Harbors Council has 2 nearly completed with summits, and then Chief Seattle Council has 1 scout who has completed their summit and quartermaster and had previously completed their Eagle rank. And then one final shout out is just in general to all of our awesome councils who are forming CVOAs for the first time or for the first time in a long time. And some things we are super proud of from this past year are our connections with our councils. Our meetings are regularly happening again, and we're having pretty regular communications with our councils. It started as mainly just adults going to our meetings, but we are getting more and more youth coming who are energized and excited for these discussions. I hope this continues, as well as the trend of more of our councils reforming or forming CVOAs. And we're just excited to see what's going to happen in this next term. And they are already setting up a great foundation for this next year. And I'll hand that back off.
Right on. Thank you so much, CST1. Moving on with CST3.
Hello there. I'm very happy to get to talk about CST3 as always. We have had a great year and a great trimester. We worked very hard on wrapping up CSVE, much thanks to Katie's hard work and doing all that she's done to improve CSVE. We've maintained communications with our councils, and we're working currently with our president-elect, Omar, on setting up the next term for hopefully a very smooth transition. During this trimester, we attended a virtual meeting with the CST3 program lead. We presented information on our TVOA and venturing, and it was really wonderful to talk to everybody there. We've also been working on helping certain crews and councils with events. Our TVLA selection committee selected 2 recipients for the TVLA, and those will be announced soon on our social media, so go check those out. And as always, we've held a focus on consistent communication and offering our help whenever we can. And it's made for a really wonderful term and a wonderful opportunity to connect with so many different youth and councils during this trimester and, this whole year. So to quickly go over some great youth achievements we've seen, Talea Bozanic from Orange County Council won the Distinguished Conservation Service Award. She did a wonderful job on her work. We have a social media post up for that. Clark Burns as well, he got his Summit Rank Award from Nevada Area Council. He had to work very hard on that, and we helped out with some of the few paperwork things and seeing how that went. And then Omar Jimenez from Western Los Angeles County Council was a CVOA president, and he worked really hard in getting that CVOA up and running, and we want to thank him for all of that hard work. And one of the things we're very proud of from this year is the relationships we've gained through our roundtables and our various meetings and events and getting to communicate with everybody. And we hope that next year this will continue to happen, that people will come to the roundtables and they'll continue to foster these wonderful venturing relationships we're so proud and so grateful to have. And for a quick update, our next roundtable will be on the 21st, unless that changes, but if it does, we'll send out emails to all the relevant people. And with that, I will hand things back to Aiden.
Thank you so much, Josie. I'd like to introduce CST4 with Thomas.
Thanks. So when I was looking at what to say here, I started to consider, well, why don't I just go based off the ALPS model? So for Adventure this year, we've hosted one of the last powder horns that Scouting America has offered. We've held multiple multi-council events, including a scavenger hunt across the Minnesota metro area. For leadership, our territory has started discussions with one of our councils to begin a new council VOA. One of our councils has completely filled their VOA for the first time in years, and we've awarded 5 council VLAs, 2 territory VLAs, and one of our territory members has even earned the National Venturing Leadership Award. For personal growth, we facilitated a mentorship training across multiple councils, and we've also had a very successful TVU. And finally, for service, we've held a few service projects across our council, including one of our CVOA's roadside cleanup. And finally, 3 ventures have earned their summit ranks, providing over 400 hours of service to their communities. And we've also had a few different specific youth that I wanted to shout out. One of our council VOA presidents from our territory really stood out this year. He's not only kept up with existing programs, but he's also created new programs and revived old programs that haven't happened in years. Matthew Higley has also received a council VLA this year for his service in his council and has been selected as the president-elect for Territory 4. I also wanted to give out a shout out again to the 3 ventures from our territory who have earned their summit ranks. Past NVOA Vice President Micah Vaco, past Council VOA President Hannah Merrick, and outgoing Territory VOA President Thomas Hoffman. And the thing that we're most proud of in our territory this year is that we've been getting more and more councils involved in monthly meetings and activities across the councils, and we're looking to really expand that. I'm excited to see what our incoming Territory VOA team can do and to take this from where it is to where it can get. And with that, I'll hand it back to Aiden.
Congratulations on your Summit Award, Thomas. And thank you to Territory 4. I'd like to pass on next to CST5.
Thank you, Aiden. So we've had a lot of stuff going on in CST5. One thing is that we had to rebuild our connections throughout the territory, kind of reforming connections with youth and adults within different councils, and kind of forming up that contact list. With that, we also have 2 councils that have either started or have begun, are towards the end of the process, or have started creating CVOAs. One of them being Pathway to the Rockies and Jayhawk councils. Shout out to them. Pathway to the Rockies is almost done. Pretty close, should be towards the end of this month. And Jayhawk Council should be starting underway and should be finishing up near September, October of fall. So a couple of great events we had was that we had 3 events, one in Colorado and 2 in St. Louis area, that have had over 500 people in attendance. One of them was the Fall Fun Rally in Greater St. Louis area Scouting name change, along with their Adventure Summit that was held 2 weekends ago. That event, I think, had 5,000 people in total attendance. With that, I think roughly 350 ventures was held overall territory and invited other people from around the nation. other accomplishments that we've had is just kind of growing. We're having more participation within our monthly calls. Like we said, it's part of just having more connections and growing our contact list. And we also had another event out in Adventure West Council, Colorado, Colorado Jamboree, I believe it was called. And that event also went amazing. So hopefully next year we can see that we keep up these high territory events with more people getting engaged, and also at the lower level with districts and councils that they can keep growing and creating more venturing programs with CUVOAs, and hopefully we can keep expanding the program throughout territory. Thank you. Back to you, Aiden.
Thank you so much. Next, I'd like to introduce CST6 with Emily.
Thanks, Aiden. Just wanted to talk about some of our achievements as a territory this year, as we have grown in a lot of growth in terms of how many CVOAs we've set up, as well as how active our venturers are. So starting with our achievements and events this past year, we have had 3 established CVOAs and counting, which we have 14. However, there are a lot of them in the process of setting up if they haven't already been established, which I will also be helping with into the next term as we slide into transitioning. We have over at least 3 Distinguished Conservation Service Award recipients, and we've given them out, which luckily was very much fun. We've had over 5 cross-council events, not to mention the key to our territory and how active they are is our inter-program relations. Whether you're from venturing, OA, from Sea Scouts, from exploring, we found that it was easier to maintain our relations by seeing each other at events and heavily encourage each other to attend said events, even if you're not from that council. Some accomplishments I want to talk about that I want to see into this next term is our foundation. So within our foundation for the TVOA setup, we have started a few projects, one of them being the Ambassador Program, which has been a really big resource for our councils if you are new to venturing, if you don't know what venturing is, if you want to represent it, if you want to help people come into the program. It's been something that everyone's been asking for within my territory. We have brochures, we have flyers, we have badges. It definitely creates a good network, which we all have really friendly relations. And for any upcoming events, just one that we wanted to actually emphasize, especially with our new training, is hazardous weather training. We want to make sure that everyone is staying on top of that and making sure that everyone is informed. But other than that, that's all for CST6. And I'm going to hand it back to you, Elaine.
Thank you so much, Emmeline. I appreciate it. Moving on with CST7 and Joaquin.
I just realized my microphone was off. Thank you, Aiden. So we have a few events that we had this year. We had the Sam Houston Area Council's Venturing Challenge, and it was Minecraft themed. They had a scavenger hunt and ranging target activities. We had many summit recipients. I believe we had like about 5 to 7 recipients, and we're looking forward to hear their stories and maybe share them on our social media. Capital Area Council last fall had their Luau themed high adventure day. Yeah, one of our greatest accomplishments this year that we really loved was actually showing up for our venturing events and supporting our youth. And we hope that this continues to happen into the next term. Next fall, we will have the Capital Area Council is planning another high adventure day, and it's going to be a joint program with the Venturers, Sea Scouts, and Explorers to do a really great event, and they're hoping to have some robotics involved with it, so it should be really cool. And I think they might be doing an ATV program to drive the registration, but we're looking forward to see what those details will look like pretty soon. That's pretty much all I have. Thank you to Territory 7 for a great year, and you'll be in good hands with our next president as we hold our selection call soon. Thank you. Back to you, Aiden.
Right on. Thanks so much, Territory 7, and thank you, Joaquin. Next, we have Territory 8 with Paul.
Howdy, y'all. So here, sorry, give me a second. So Territory 8, we were able to make some great strides this year. So we're just working on establishing some of our new officer positions. We did elect our vice president recently, and we're hoping that he serves next year, and I think that he will do a great job next year. We did have a few people in our territory that did earn the rank of summit, me included, Just in general, accomplishments from this year, we were able to improve council connections and hopefully set a good foundation. That way, the next group of officers have a great area to start off and continue to improve on what we started on this year. Just one big upcoming event that is being done within our territory. Longhorn Council, they're hosting their Venturing Splash Bash. That's their biggest VOA event of the year, where they bring in tons of people from the council and a few people from our neighboring councils, and they come in and do a bunch of aquatic activities. In general, we've had some great growth. We recently had a meeting. We were able to discuss just some of the things that we went over throughout the year and how we want to improve going into the next year. We're just looking at what we did last year and seeing how we can improve based off that. I think we've made some great strides as a territory, and I am really looking forward to see what the next group of officers will be doing. So I'll pass that off to Aiden.
Awesome. Thank you so much. A lot of great stuff coming from Territory, and congratulations on your summit rank, Paul. That does it for the Western Territories. So moving on to the Eastern Territories, with Territory 9 and actually a new representative from Territory 9. So I'd like to introduce you guys to Claire.
Hi, it has been a great year in CST 9. We have been able to expand our connections with the crews as well as social media presence. While currently in a growth period, we have the opportunity to share about venturing at many different events with a large variety of groups. With the upcoming term of 2025, we're excited to see the great things that are come across the territory. A few shout outs we have is Venturing Kickback Weekend that took place in February. It had a registered 120 venturers as well as advisors and hosting the Michigan Crossroads by the president for Division CVOA. Our territory venturing coordinator represented the CST9 program conference in April 5th in Ohio. We also had the opportunity to have many summit awards this year, which was awesome to see and be able to share and congratulate with them. Some of the things we're proud of is we're continuing the Territory 9 venturing presence at several councils, as well as continuing to grow the VOAs that are present within our territory, which has been great to see the growth there. Some upcoming events is Michigan Crossroads is hosting a Rifle River Gauntlet at Cole Canoe Base in Elgin, Michigan, coming up this June, hosted by the Great Lakes Council. Thank you for your time, and I'm going to give it back to Aiden.
Thank you so much to CST9 TVOA. Moving on, we have the CST10 VOA.
Thanks, Aiden. In April, we were able to meet with the CST10 marketing lead. And if you're interested in hearing about how we can market venturing better, we put the recording on our Facebook page. And then we had our last meeting of this term last night. We announced our 2 Territory Venturing Leadership Awards recipients, Joey Dorico and myself. And we announced our incoming president, Addie, which we're super excited about. And we had guests from Maine High Adventure share about trek opportunities in Maine. Applications are currently open for the Venturing Territory Vice President position. If anyone's in CST10 and interested in participating at the territory level, we would love to have you on the team. Just a couple of shout outs. Leo He and Spirit of Adventure Council VOA are making great strides in encouraging scouting values. Last month, they offered an introductory L&T course, and next month, they are offering a Leave No Trace Master course. Laura Panapinto and Greater New York Council's VOA have been hard at work creating a robust program of both fun activities and trainings in New York City, open to the whole territory. And Nathan Hart has been serving as his Council Venturing Vice President, as well as our Territory Vice President. He continues to bring fresh ideas and enthusiasm to the table. We're super grateful to have all of them active in our territory. This year, we have gained 50 followers on Instagram and are averaging about 4,000 views a month, which is huge growth from previous years, and we're excited to continue working to expand our presence on social media to promote venturing across the country. As far as upcoming events go, in May, Mayflower Council has their VOA banquet on May 17th. Spirit of Adventure Council is offering that Leave No Trace Master Trainer course June 21st, and Greater New York Councils has a venturing summer camp August 10th to 16th. Thanks, Aiden.
Thank you so much, Abby. It sounds like Territory 10's had a great year. Next, I'd like to introduce Territory 12 with Ellie.
Hello, everyone. So my name is Ellie Bullock. Territory 12 has had a fantastic year this year. Some of our big events were Phenomenon, the Quest for the Final Frontier. We had around 89 youth in attendance, including the National VOA President, Andrea. That event is coming back this year, so we are very excited for that. Other than that, NCAC, National Capital Area Council, has been phenomenal. Their CVOA has hosted various events, from local trainings to targeted venturing oriented events based on recruiting and just connecting units to each other. The CST12 program conference was fantastic this year. There was a lot of attendance, especially with the keynote address coming from Andrea as well, and lots of participation and engagement in the older youth program discussions. Continuing out the term and looking forward to the next year, we do have our next president selected. We are still looking for a vice president officer place. The engagement across the territory in our CST12 Zoom meetings has been fantastic. Some less than others, but still engagement. As I mentioned earlier, one of our big upcoming events is Phenomenon. This upcoming year, the theme will be the Quest for Skesi at Sinquequipe Scout Reservation, September 5th through 7th, 2025. We are looking for that event to be bigger than last year and hopefully more attendance. Thank you.
Hey, thank you so much, CST12. You're good. Moving on, we have CST13 with Nathan.
Right, thank you very much. So this year definitely came with its fair share of challenges, from impromptu leadership transitions to the work of reconnecting and re-engaging with newly acquired councils. But through it all, we definitely prevailed. Now, as I prepare to hand off the torch to the incoming territory president and vice president, I couldn't be more proud of everything my team and I have accomplished. I want to take a moment and highlight a few outstanding achievements from this year. First, a huge shout out goes to the youth and adult leaders of Garden State Council for their dedication in starting up their council VOA. Another big highlight goes out to the incredible venturing track that was hosted by Patriots Path Council at their University of Scouting. One thing I'm especially proud of that we did this year was how we worked together to bring in Sea Scouts into the fold. We began inviting them into our monthly territory calls, and the turnout has been absolutely amazing. I truly hope that the momentum continues and grows within the next term. Looking ahead, there are a lot of exciting events coming up within CST13 this summer. One of the big ones being the Jersey Shore Council's Venturing Resident Camp from July 27th to the 30th at Joseph A. Sitta Scout Reservation. And make sure to keep an eye out for more information regarding our upcoming Territory Venturing Officers Orientation. And with that, I'll pass it back to Aiden.
Thanks so much, Nathan, and thanks, CST13. Next, we're going to hear from CST14 and Mikey.
Thank you. It's been an awesome year in our Territory 14. We've seen a lot of new faces joining our territory, but most excitingly, we just elected our 2025-26 Territory VOA president, Tommy Phillips from the Northeast Georgia Council. He's done an incredible job reviving the VOA in his council. Their first event was actually just this past Sunday. It's just super cool to see the crew presence in his area and his expertise coming into the territory. Right now, our main focus is on transitional periods, setting that stage for that next term of officers. We have started planning the TVU, which we're super pumped about. More information of that to come on our social media pages, as well as a highlight from this year. Many of you all talked about it, but Winterfest. It was fantastic. I unfortunately couldn't make it, but a lot of you all made it on the call. And so thanks for coming, and they're already looking forward to next year celebrating the 50th anniversary of this event in 2025. And then what we've done and what we're most proud of is our communications toolkit. This is a toolkit with a bunch of Canva templates, ready to go social media posts for our councils so that all they have to do is do a quick edit in our Canva template and can release that out on their own social media platforms. We're trying to make it easier by giving them the tools and the best ways to do social media, and that is our biggest accomplishment this year. One final note is that our last meeting of the year will be on May 25th. We'd love to see everyone there as we look ahead of the future of the territory and get ready to hand things off to the next term. I'll pass it back over to Aiden.
Thanks so much, Mikey. Next, we're going to hear from Council Service Territory 15, my home territory, in Kara Sun.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for having me. So CST 15, we have had a phenomenal year. We've seen a huge growth in our meeting attendance, as well as our social media engagement. With our mascot, Gilbert the Goat, we have seen a ton of growth within like the scout spirit of our territory. And it's just been super fun to see getting to be engaged with all of our council presidents, as well as being able to go to different events has been super, super amazing. I've had the privilege of going to events from multiple different councils this year, from teaching at different OA events. I had the honor of being a guest at E8 Conclave, or being a guest at my own home council's big venturing event Rendezvous. It's been a super phenomenal time getting to meet and fellowship with the venturers that make up CST 15. We have also elected our new VOA president, and we're very excited to announce that on June 1st. And I just know that they're going to do a absolutely phenomenal job. So be sure to be on the lookout for that. For my time to shout out the youth achievements, I wanted to take the time and formally thank my vice president and my communications chair, Nick and Lucia. They have just done an absolutely phenomenal job with helping us run this incredible territory, whether that be Lucia as our communications chair, reviving and revamping our territory newsletter, as well as creating engaging content for us to post on our social media. She's just done a phenomenal job, and one of the main reasons why our territory is so well promoted is by her effort. So thank you to Lucia. And Nick, my vice president, he has done an absolutely incredible job with helping me run the territory calls and come up with new and fun and engaging ideas to encourage the CST venturers to get more involved, as well as matching my own crazy wild ideas with his own. So thank you to my team. I truly would not be able to be as successful without you guys. So thank you so much. And some of my favorite achievements that we've had this year, we've had a massive growth on our social media, and we've had almost a 200 new follower growth on our Instagram and even more on our Facebook, with our constant posting from different events such as Winterfest or this past one at E8 Conclave, and there's some more coming on its way. And just being able to just constantly post and be on the feeds of those venturers to get the name of not only our territory, but of venturing out there was a super cool goal of mine. And I'm so happy to have seen it come into fruition. We have also received contact information from the majority of our MIA councils that we've had in our territory. And I'm happy to say that we have a representative from over 90% of all of our councils on our calls. So it's been super, super awesome, and I love to see all of it. For some other updates, our last meeting of the term will be May 18th. This will be a fun meeting. It's kind of a goodbye. We're going to announce some awards, so all are welcome. So that is May 18th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And like I said, our territory president and vice president will be announced on June 1st. Thank you guys so much for a great year. It's truly been a blast, and I cannot wait to continue working with the NVOA next year and to see what the new officers accomplished. Back to you, Aiden.
Shout out to you guys. Thank you, CST15. Thank you, Karis. And thank you guys for joining our stream. Last but not least, we have Council Service Territory 16 with Emily.
I'm the Service Territory 16 president, and some achievements from the different councils. Swanee River Area Council had some multiple councils joining their last event, and Puerto Rico Council was able to strengthen their program with different events. Some individuals in the council that were able to receive some awards were Dennis Crawley from Gulfstream and No More from Swanee River Area Council were able to receive the Venturing Leadership Award in their individual councils. And also one individual from a council, Alexis Wood from the Alabama, Florida, was able to strengthen and grow her council and make it bigger. We've been able to have different councils and reaching out to other ones. Our last meeting will be May 28th, and we are having our call to decide the next president and vice president on the 14th. And that is all with the Territory 16. So back to Aiden.
Thank you, CST16. That does it for all of our territory reports. As you guys can clearly see, there's a lot to be proud of, and there's a lot to look forward to. And I'm personally super, super excited moving into the next year. I'd like to hand the meeting back off to Andrea so we can talk about what's next.
Thank you so much, Aiden. And thank you to our wonderful council support presidents. For everyone on the call, these are the people that make everything work. These are phenomenal youth to have worked with this year, and I'm so proud of everything that they've accomplished. Every time we get on these calls or I hop onto ETR, WTR calls, it kind of keeps us going, getting to see what everyone's up to and all the great accomplishments that they've had this year. So guys, thank you so much for a wonderful year. And with that being said, I'll go ahead and hand it off to our National Venturing Chair and NVOA Advisor, Julie Dalton, for an advisor's minute.
Thanks, Andrea, and thank you to all the Territory Council support presidents. You guys have done a phenomenal job with your outreach and working with your councils, and we're starting to see a renewed sense of excitement within the venturing program. And so I wanted to take a few moments and just talk about what the National Venturing Committee has been up to over the past year, because we too have had a lot of accomplishments and things that we want to share with not only the territories, but also every venturer and adult out there. So our awards and recognition team, they are currently on the final stages of a major rewrite to the Ranger Award. It should be completed by June 1st. It's ready to go. We just need that final stamp of approval, and then we'll share it with everybody. Our membership team, they've developed a white paper outlining the value of the family scouting continuum. As Andrea indicated earlier, she was the speaker at the National Membership Mixer, where she talked about this white paper with CST membership leads and council membership leads throughout the country. So that was a great kudos to the venturing program, and that is important for that entire family of scouting. We're developing a new resource to support the creation of crews at the college level. With venturing going up through the age of 21, there's the opportunity that we can charter crews at smaller universities and colleges throughout the country. And so that should be coming out soon. We did a survey in preparation of this for this family scouting continuum to get the best practices and learn from those units that do have all units chartered. And so that is out there and available on our website. And then our training team, they've done a phenomenal amount of work here in the last 6 months specifically. Just recently, you probably saw that we've updated the crew officer orientation, which is part of the discovery rank requirements. It is, I think the version that was out there through Scouting U was dated circa 1999. And Microsoft had sunflowered or sunsetted the Flash software, so it no longer worked. So bottom line is we've got a new training. It's in person, it's facilitating guide is available on the website. And as a secondary training to that, we've got a new crew officer seminar training, and that's designed to help a crew understand the planning techniques and doing a good, solid annual plan for the year. And then, as Alyssa alluded to earlier, our training team has also been working on venturing program helps. I know that there was a lot of upset people when Scouting U canceled the Kodiak program last year, but we were able to take the experiential learning aspects of that and the program elements of that, and we've developed 61 new program helps. There are various activities from everything from communications to ethics and values, icebreakers, inclusion and difference, facilitating presentation skills, leadership styles, planning, team building, and etc. So those, we actually had a meeting this morning to discuss getting those on the website. So that should be coming soon. And be on the lookout, and we'll have copies of all that at NAM. So if anyone is attending NAM, be sure to drop by our booth, and we'll share this information with you. And with that, I'll hand it off to Tim Anderson, who's the National Director of Older Youth Programs.
Awesome. Thank you, Julie. And what a great meeting. And I'd like to start out by thanking Andrea and the entire leadership team and just everything that you guys have done, making venturing a better program for everybody to participate. And we almost got to growth. We were so close. Venturing and Sea Scouting together made growth, and venturing was just barely off. But I wanted to thank all of y'all for concentrating on growing, because I like to say that if this team doesn't go to sleep and wake up and think about growing and venturing, then who else in the country can we expect to do that? So part of my thoughts and my expectations is that all of us kind of own growth, even though we're programmed. We own growth, and we try to make sure that we provide the resources, the inspiration, and the environment for local councils to grow. So I'm looking forward to the National Annual Meeting. Andrea's done a lot of good work, and Gabby and others on the Sea Scouting side and exploring. We're going to be well represented at the National Annual Meeting next week. Everything from, of course, our gracious Silver Buffalo recipients and Silver Antelope recipients, including our own Julie Dalton, and also a lot of the God and Country Breakfast and all the things that we have going on during the National Annual Meeting. We have a booth that'll be set up for older youth programs, including for exploring, venturing, Sea Scouting, and Learning for Life. And of course, Scouts BSA and Cub Scouts will be next to us as well. In addition to that, we have electives going on for each of the programs, so we'll be represented there. Andrea and others will have an opportunity to be in front of everyone at many of the general sessions and some of the other award recognition events and things like that. So really looking forward to a great National Annual Meeting and a great recap for the year. I was really impressed with the annual report. I thought that was done very well, and I'm looking forward to kind of getting that finalized and publicized. But I'd like to kind of end my piece today with just saying thank you again, Andrea, to you and your entire team. Aiden, I'm looking forward to working with you. I know me and Julie have a call coming up soon with you as well. And I'm looking forward to another great team and working. I have the best job in Scouting America and Learning for Life. I've been able to work with the older youth programs and our young adults. And you are why we do what we do. I like to say that if Cub Scouts has the parts and Scouts BSA is the assembly line, venturing, sea scouting, exploring is the car at the end that everybody wants to drive and everybody wants to see. Y'all are the final and the finished product of what Scouting America is all about. So thank y'all for everything that you're doing. And of course, Julie, I want to say thank you for your leadership and everything that you've done to help this group as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Tim. We really appreciate it. And on behalf of the whole group, thank you so much for everything that you've done for us this year. Tim has made it possible for us to be at NAMM next week. I know we talk a lot about it, but Tim, thank you so much for helping that become a reality. As well as, I think Mr. Lyon is probably watching this back home. Thank you so much for making sure that the older youth programs are well represented by allowing us to kind of assist and participate with the religious breakfast at NAMM. So thank you so much. And then as well, Tim and Tim's assistant Susan have been so helpful this year. They pick up the phone basically every time I call, and they're always there to help, as well as Julie. I know last week they made sure that very last minute we got an NVOA flag to have at events moving forward. So truly, thank you so much to our wonderful advisors, and once more before we close up tonight, to our wonderful youth, not only on this call, but everyone back home, including our CVOA leaders, as well as crew leadership in our ventures. I'd like to recognize that a lot of individuals in leadership roles in the venturing program treat this like a full-time job, all while going to school and dealing with family and personal issues. So on behalf of our team, thank you so much for the time and effort and just truly everything that you put into the program. It does not go unnoticed, and we really, really appreciate it. So thank you so much, everyone, for being here tonight, for taking an hour out of your evenings to join us and hear about the wonderful work that our youth have accomplished in this last trimester, but also throughout the year. So thank you all so much again, and have a great night.